Welcome to the Picks from the Yard podcast. I'm your host, Wayne Salvatore. Just a humble caddy trying to scratch out winners every week for you guys, along with my friends, family, even acquaintances are welcome as long as they provide winners. Now that they've gone and legalized gambling here in Jersey, we're going to provide you with the hot selections every week.
Welcome to the Clegg's Corner podcast featuring Picks from the Yard, where we pick all the hot soccer games and have a little football segment at the end.
Soccer games. Give me a break. That's our producer, Will. You show up a little bit late. They try to take over the show. This is Picks from the Yard, the podcast. We're in week 8 of the NFL. We will have Clegg's Corner. We have actually Will Clegg is sitting in this week. We had a little scheduling snafu, and we expect expert picks. I mean, he's so good at soccer. Let's see how he does at football.
Yeah, the real football.
Trying to hijack the introduction, though. I don't know if that's a good start.
No, he's been good. I like it. We got to mix it up in some way. So I like having Will in here. He's been very good on his soccer picks. So let him take a swing at some football.
Let's see if it translates to American football. I don't know.
I would say it's been bad luck, but since we had so many blowouts last week, it's not even we need luck. We need skill and luck maybe this week. I'm not sure. Anyway, returning Richard the Math Whisperer Salvatore.
Yes, it's good to be back. But I will say this, late Monday night, I felt like I needed a warm bath. It was a rough week. And to end with that Jet debacle, and it was a debacle.
Yes, we all were seeing ghosts.
Jeez, it was
Sammy,
terrible.
don't worry, it wasn't just you, buddy.
Miserable.
Returning Bill Vivant Lesko.
Yeah, I had the same kind of weekend. Started Yankees Saturday, Giants Sunday, Jets Monday.
It was a rough for the local fans. It was not not enjoyable sports weekend. And Will Clegg here for a double dose. You get him for the whole show. How you feeling about the NFL card this week, buddy?
I'm feeling pretty good. You know, I've been betting like one game a week and doing pretty well. I have not had to choose 3, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I feel pretty good.
Well, we expect at least 2-1. So no pressure here, buddy. But the guests have been carrying us, so you got to continue that tradition.
Right, that's right.
As I touched on, our wonderful record last week, 3-9. That brings us to 33-51 overall. A bit of a mountain to climb to get back.
That's rough.
To winning, to get our money back, I should say. I'm not sure I can offer any more excuses at this point. I went 1-2. I won on Jacksonville. And I lost 2 squeakers, the Giants and the Eagles.
Total about 50-something points.
Really right in those. Nothing like the bet. At least you tune the game out after like the first quarter. You know it's a loser. Richard, 0-3, buddy. Houston, Indy, under, loser. And you had a couple of close ones too here. Duke.
Yeah, the Jets were right in it.
Terrible.
Right? Yeah.
Duke and the Jets, both terrible. The
they
under
were
was
both down like 28-0, I think, at one point.
Man, miserable.
Tough. Our guest Tom Maloney carried us 2-1. He had a winner on Kansas City. New Orleans just keeps on winning, and he lost on Seattle. And Jim Dodge is taking another week off to lick his wounds. He lost on Oakland. He lost on his under in the Chargers-Titans game, and then he thought he had a shot. He lost. San Fran was laying 9.5. They won 9-0.
Lost that by half a point.
Quite an exciting game.
You've got to outscore the spread.
It's a half point. He was none too pleased and said, I'll see you in a couple weeks.
He needed time off. And much like the Jet fans, he ended, with the Sunday night blowout loss to Dallas. So, but people out there who are worried about Dodge is fine. He's fine. In no time, he'll be back to teasing down 10-point favorites. So no worries.
Don't be concerned. The parlay was a loser. It went 1-2, so we're 0-7 on the year. So we got some work to do. We're at the midway point in the season, so we just got to do the opposite of what we did, plus a couple games, and we'll get some money back. So we're trying to figure out which loss was worse, the Jets or the Giants. It's a little bit tricky to dive into because, I mean, the Giants were supposed to win, but got beat. to I feel like a far
one of the worst teams.
One of the worst teams in the league who have managed to win 3 in a row. I'm not sure. The Jets were supposed to lose, but not. You get completely
And on Monday night.
Unwatchable. I couldn't. And I was trapped in Vermont with it. We were on a little trip there, and I was stuck with a Patriots fan, just when I needed to be out in the great outdoors.
Torture.
And just getting rolled. But I mean, just both the fans. You can't even talk about football this week.
The Jets look like they didn't know. Like the Giants made mistakes. The Jets looked like they couldn't play football. Like Darnold looked like he'd never played before.
It's just another complete out coaching. It's unbelievable, Belichick. I mean, just they're going to win the game, but you hope the Jets are going to keep it close, and then he's just like, no. I don't think I'm going to let you score this week. That's how good. I mean, it just, the quarterback obviously was mic'd. That was a side. Well, they're making a bigger story out of it than it should be, but he was mic'd up, and he's quoted. They let slip in there that he was seeing ghosts because I guess he was completely befuddled. But that's it's coach's fault. Part of it, right? It's not like they want to rip the QB, but
Belichick has done that time and again to young quarterbacks. But what was disheartening, it was that game was really anticipated in a nice way, and a lot of people were on the Jets. Like a lot of gamblers said they had a good shot to not only cover but maybe to win the game outright. And right from the get-go, the Patriots just marched down the field, stick it down their throats. And then Darnold throws the pick right away, and the Patriots are off and running, and they never look back, and it was just disheartening. As
so
a Jet
pissed.
fan.
It was great that it fell on my girlfriend's birthday too. By the way, they really did. My singing of "Happy Birthday" maybe was thrown off a little bit, but the Giants are. I don't know what to make of them either. I love. I mean, those are. We both. Richard took the Jets last week. I took the Giants. I couldn't believe I was driving, and I'm like, somebody checked the score at 120. The Giants are down 14-0. I go, well, it's at 120. My Sunday is ruined.
I think the Giants' loss has got to be worse. I mean, you expect the Jets to lose to the Patriots, right? Maybe not as badly as they did, but the Giants. I mean, the Cardinals stink. They really stink. And the Giants should have been a little bit better, right?
I was shocked by how that game got started, and then
the Giants' defense isn't there, and the Cardinals do have an offense. I mean, Murray's been playing better, not against anyone really, but he's been playing better.
I thought the Giants' D looked good against the Patriots, so I was not concerned, and they had the couple extra days to prepare. But it's tough being a fan around here, and with the World Series going on, minus the Yankees, a lot of fans there are some Mets fans who might be a little not distraught, but you do like to see the local team go all the way. It's good for the energy around here. But Yankees are out. First time. This drought's been 100 years in the making, I think.
This is the first time since the 20s they went a full decade without going to the World Series.
That's right. So we can, the Mets fans can enjoy this. Finally, 1 decade of my life without watching the Yankees in the World Series.
I know the Nationals fans are very excited. Shout out to my brother David in D.C. He's a season ticket holder. He was at the stadium last night,
red hot,
watching the game. So excited. And they won the game 1. I mean, I bet them to win the series.
Red hot. There were people. I guess it was talk that they might be cool, because they were just rolling, and then you had the downtime. But they look like they're just. I don't know. I mean, I thought the American League all year was going to have it wrapped up, but.
I'm taking a contrarian view here because I still think the Astros. I think now the Astros are a good bet. The fact that they lost Game 1 and they're a tough, resilient team. I don't see this as being a quick series. I think this is going to be a long series. And Washington's bullpen is shaky. And the Astros, in Game 1 kind of got into the bullpen a little bit and did some damage. And I think the Astros are a good bet. I mean, by the time you guys hear this, Game 2 will be over. But whether it's 1-1, even if it's 2-0 Washington, I would still bet on the Astros at that point.
I would like to point out we picked 4 teams to win the World Series, and we didn't mention this last week. We had 3 out of the 3 of them made the Final Four. So picks from my Mets were the only ones that didn't. My pick actually was the only one that didn't quite get there. In a shocking development, but we had 3 of them.
We had 3 of them, which is good. Dodge picked the Astros. Rick Collins picked Washington, which is, you got to admit, that's a great pick. They were at long odds.
We were mocking him.
Yeah, Dodge.
A month into the season, we were texting his
relentless.
Collins, the baseball guru, and here he is, rose to the top.
and he looks really good. I assume he actually bet it. If I bet it, I may hedge it now a little bit. I mean, a little bit, because you get him this far.
Yeah.
And they were huge odds, but that's a good pick by him.
Yeah, it was a good job by Collins. Much as I hate to admit that in public. And the NBA got underway last night. A couple games on. Actually, they were both fairly exciting. The both LA teams played, so that was pretty awesome because they're both the two favorites, I think, to win the whole thing.
Yeah, I can't remember ever in any professional league where the two favorites to win the championship are both from the same city. So that's interesting. I wouldn't bet either of them. I mean, we're going to have, I think, a future podcast where we'll get into the NBA a little bit more. But I would fade both of those teams. But it's kind of exciting, I guess, to be out there and have two teams that look pretty good.
And this weekend,
God
you got
knows I'm not football fans, so.
Well, that's the thing. Well, LA is a basketball city. It really is. And I bet you there's more excitement about them even than the Rams and certainly the Chargers.
Yeah, they're not really packing that the football stadium out there. And the good news for the gamblers, though, this is the rare weekend where you can do the 4-sport parlay. I love throwing one of these in every year. This weekend coming up, you're going to have football, hockey, basketball, and baseball for a short, what were they calling it, Richard?
The sports is, how do you pronounce it? Equinox? I believe the sports equinox. It happens right this time of year, the one weekend where all 4 major sports are in play. And Saturday you can throw college football in with the other 3. Sunday you can put the NFL in, but you can get a lot of action going. It's great.
And then soccer.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there another sport that we could throw in there?
Yeah. Get a nice 5-game parlay.
There you go. Sure.
I've attempted to win the sports equinox wager. I'm probably about 0 for 23 now. But every year I give it a shot. So we'll probably try to we'll throw one out there on Twitter.
Right. We'll tweet something out.
Because we can't really get into the hockey and basketball lines for the weekend are not up yet. And away we go. Let's try to get this back on track, guys. We're overdue for a winning week. So I'm just gonna jump in and just, you know what I'm doing? I give up. I'm taking the Patriots every week. Well, what am I, a moron trying to figure these games out? This guy's unbelievable into rookie quarterbacks, which we touched on. They're playing Cleveland, Baker Mayfield, who has been very, very shaky, and they're laying 13, but the spread, it doesn't even seem to matter. It's ridiculous. They're covering every week, so I'm certainly not going to root for them, but I mean, if I got to watch them roll these teams every week, their defense looks nasty. They just picked up another wide receiver from Atlanta, Sanu, and they're getting geared up. It's frustrating. So I may as well profit from it. Take the Pats -13.
If you can't beat them, join them. I like the Pats this week because I feel like with the young quarterback and the rookie head coach on the other side, who I don't think
the coaching
he's a good
mismatch
coach.
is
It's a
off
big mismatch.
the charts.
And I do like the Pats. All right, for my first pick, I'm going back to college.
Come on.
I'm going back to college.
Richard.
What's that? This is coming out of left field, but what's that movie about golf where the guy keeps putting the ball in the water, but he keeps trying the same shot?
Tin Cup.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm like that guy right now. I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna do
More
it.
like Rodney Dangerfield and back to school.
There you go. I'm taking Florida State. They're a favorite. I'm more of an underdog type better, but I like Florida State as a favorite. They're given 9.5. They won a couple of good games at home against ACC teams 3 and 4 weeks ago. They covered both games. Then they got crushed by Clemson. They played at Wake Forest last week, and they were in that game. Depending what you got the line at, you might have covered in that game. Wake Forest is good this year. Now they have Syracuse back at home. And Syracuse is not good this year, and I could see Florida State wanting to make a statement. That coach is a little bit on the hot seat. They asked the athletic director if he was interested in Urban Meyer, and he what was his quote?
Statement.
His statement
His coach
was,
could get hit by a bus.
Yeah, he said my coach could get hit by a bus.
And all respect to Urban Meyer, but I still wouldn't hire Urban Meyer.
Right. What's kind of a disturbing, strange thing to say, but putting that aside, I think the team is going to play for this guy, and I see them coming up big against a Syracuse team that's not that good. So I say take Florida State, laying 9.5.
Okay, for my first pick, I'm going to go with the Houston Texans. They had a tough loss last week against Indy. They've been playing well. They're playing the Raiders. We're on their 5th straight
the Raiders
road
have been
game.
on the road forever. They looked like tuckered out last week. They're going to be.
I think they're going to kill them. Houston, just a way better team.
The travel scheduling really is ridiculous for Oakland. Like you can't. I mean, they have to be exhausted. There's no.
It's still getting revenge on Al Davis. I think NFL.
All right, for my first pick, I've learned from Dodge how to pick these games, guys. So I'm going with a homer pick.
Oh boy,
Carolina Panthers.
There we go. See, it's that easy.
Yeah.
Just bet your team every week.
That's right.
It would have been. That's rolling for you actually.
What's Dodge's record though? It's not great. Sorry. So all right, I do think Carolina is going to keep this game close against San Francisco. San Francisco obviously only beat Washington 9-0 last week, which is.
There are two undefeated teams in the league. One is the perennial favorite New England Patriots. The other is the I know the Niners are good.
They're good. And they've won pretty convincingly in most of these games. But yeah,
overdue for a loss.
Yeah,
Carolina's coming off a bye, I think, and
I mean Carolina's been on on the rise all season ever since Cam Newton got hurt. Kyle Allen's looked great. McCaffrey's been amazing, and the defense has been very solid all along. So I don't know if they're going to win outright. I mean, I definitely like them to keep this game really close, and they got a chance to win it outright. So give me Carolina plus 5.5.
I'm taking the Chargers plus 4. They're 2-5, I believe. Their 5 losses have all been by one score, by 3s and 7s. They're in every game. They lost they should have won. They had 3 chances to punch it in last week against Tennessee. Anyway, and they're going into Chicago, and the Bears are not. I felt they did look a little dominant in a couple of their wins, but they 2 of their wins are against Washington and Denver. They're 3-3. They've had one quality win. I believe it was against Lesko's Vikings, and they look. Trubisky I don't think is very good. I know their D is nasty, but the Chargers have been in every game. Give me them plus 4.
Yeah, Chargers with points. Chargers just to choke by 3 at the end or something like that.
Rivers has lost so many heartbreaking games. It's unbelievable. This is like gone on for years now. How many games by just
Right, but they're not getting blown out, and the Bears kind of look shaky now. So I like the Chargers as a dog. All right. For my second pick, I'm picking the Jets again.
I don't want to talk about the Jets.
I'm going back. I'm picking the Jets. I'm picking the Jets.
My anger all year.
Belichick did a great job. Darnold didn't know what the heck he was doing. But now they're going down to Jacksonville. I know Jacksonville's been okay, but Jacksonville is not blowing out teams. Like Jacksonville's playing some close games. Against Cincinnati last week, Cincinnati was in that game, and I don't see Jacksonville as the sort of team that is going to win big. And the Jets 2 weeks ago looked good against the Cowboys, and you have this thing where maybe people overreact. They got crushed on Monday night. They're terrible,
minor setback,
right? But I think they're going to have a good week of practice, and I think they're going to come back strong. So I say take the Jets and 5.5 points.
Let me tell you, I was in, as I mentioned before, I was in Vermont, and I was at the supermarket with my Jets hat and sweatshirt on, and some kindly country folks, seemingly kindly gentlemen, approached. Oh, you got your Jets stuff on. Pretty proud. I said, yeah, it's been in my closet all year. I finally got to dust it off this week. I was just completely not even thinking that. I mean, it was some smug Pats fan, just like those.
Is there any other kind of Pats fan?
Unbelievable. Can't I just wear my Jets gear in peace? I know you're gonna win. It's fine. Yes, I was getting mocked in Vermont for my Jets uniform.
My second pick is I'm going to go with the Colts. Given 6, they're playing Denver, who's I think a little better than they've played, but last week they didn't look good at all.
No.
I think the Colts are probably maybe the most underrated team out there right now. Frank Reich's a great coach.
They're solid. They built that team up for Luck, and I know Luck did shit, but Brissett's very
well. People are comparing Brissett to what he did 2 years ago, but 2 years ago they didn't have that line.
No.
I think the last 2 years ago, Brissett was the most sacked quarterback in the league. And this year, I think he's been sacked like a total 7 times.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with a whole different sort of set of things going on. Mac's a good running back, and I just think they're a good, solid team.
Denver's definitely slipping away. And it's an early start. They got to travel east. I always like that other level, that other aspect of the game.
All right, for my second pick, I'm going with the Thursday night action.
Yes.
Minnesota hosting the Redskins. Washington's terrible. I mean, they're just terrible. I don't know how they were hanging in there even against San Francisco. I mean,
monsoon.
There was a monsoon.
It looked like it'd be a rainy season. Yeah,
right. That's not going to be happening.
When they see Minnesota's defense, they're going to think the monsoon was a pleasant experience.
Yeah. And Washington's won one game against Miami, the
someone had to
absolute
win.
worst team, right? Yeah.
And they almost didn't win that game.
Right.
I mean, that was a close game.
I think
It's
Minnesota
magic.
is
Yeah.
just going to blow them out. I mean, I think you couldn't make this line high enough. So it's minus 15.5, but give me the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm very happy for someone else to pick my Vikings for me. But I think the Vikings are just with the way the sort of turmoil they had 4 weeks ago with everyone yelling at Cousins. Now I think they're going to want to score when they can. They want to
They were
build up
showing
the
his
stats.
numbers. It actually worked. He responded to that. They should have yelled at him last year, maybe. I don't know.
He did, yeah, and they're good at home, and they're good against bad teams. And you have they're at home, and they're about the worst team in the league, other
And
than
a
Miami.
Thursday night
so-
home angle. There's so many
Right.
angles to this
I
game.
like it.
I don't even mind laying all those points. Richard, I'm joining you. I'm going back to college this week also.
Come on in. Here we go.
I swore I wasn't going to. I believe I talked up Michigan this year before the season started. I'm going to switch. I'll switch my opinion on them as I've watched this mess unfold. Notre Dame's going in there. They're laying 1 point. I'm sorry to do this to all those Irish fans. I love betting against them, but I'm taking Notre Dame. Michigan is just, they're not good in big games this year. And I don't know what's happened with Harbaugh. I don't know if it's recruiting, but it's done. I'm surprised. They're 1-2 versus ranked teams. If they lose, or should I say, when they lose this week, I mean, what do you do with them? Do you keep them as the coach?
That's going to be interesting. There was rumors going around. I think every year, the other coaches start him that he's going to go back to the pros. But part of me is thinking, like, first off, who's looking for him? But he had literally,
did
they
pretty
said he
good
was
in the
writing
pros.
letters to recruits saying that I'm staying.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It feels pretty good. I mean, they beat Iowa by 7. That was his only win against a ranked team. Notre Dame's got outside shot if they run the table, and I think Michigan's been underperforming all year, and Notre Dame is solid. I think Notre Dame's going to win this game pretty easily, actually.
Yeah, whatever Harbaugh's doing, he doesn't get his team up for big games like you think he should. And they for years they've struggled in the Ohio State game, and this year they lost those 2 games that were big time games. So I like this pick, and they're out of it now. They don't have a shot at the national title no matter what they do. Whereas Notre Dame still has an outside shot. So I think it's a big game for Notre Dame to make a statement. All right, for my third pick. All right, bear with me. I'm taking Cincinnati. I'm
you
taking the
taking
Cincinnati
all the worst
Bengals.
teams in the league?
I'm
What the
taking the
heck?
Bengals.
Oh
Here's
my-
the thing. Everyone thinks the Bengals are terrible. All right,
Yes,
I got
they
a
are.
couple
They
of
are.
numbers.
The
numbers don't lie.
All right, I got some numbers.
Oh,
Here we
boy.
go. All right, so
If you
they,
mention Boomer Esiason, I'm throwing your notes out the window.
they went to Seattle. They lost by 1 point. All right. They went to Buffalo. They lost by 4 points.
All right.
And they went to Baltimore and they lost by 6 points. They're 3-1 against the spread on the road. They're terrible at home. They're a different team on the road. They're playing the Rams. The Rams, yeah, they had a big win against Atlanta, who is, one of those terrible teams this year. But other than that, the Rams have struggled. Goff doesn't look the same. I see Cincinnati going into L.A. And by the way, L.A. is one of these teams that does not have a home field advantage, right? Because not that Cincinnati fans are going to show up, but the city of L.A. is not really supporting the Rams. So I think L.A. is one of those teams that plays better on the road. I see Cincinnati going in there, and I know it's a big-time contrarian pick. Everyone's going to be on.
Yes.
The Rams, especially
Including
13.
people on this
people look
show.
at 13 and a half, and they're like, oh, they're going to win by 2 touchdowns, right? And I look at it the opposite way. I think that puts even more people on the Rams, and I love it. Everyone
I
go on
like
the Rams. I'm on the other side.
I like the
say
angle
take
fading
the
the Rams more than I like playing up the Bengals.
I think
the Rams are going to
they're
feed
gonna-
up on bad teams.
They-
and I hate to disagree.
Cincinnati cannot stop pass rush, and the Rams have a pretty good one. I think Fowler's going to be in the backfield so long. They're going to have to common law marriage that often. He's going to kill him.
And they're traveling to L.A. There's no distractions out there for these players in Los Angeles.
13 and a half still a lot.
I'm with you, Richard. I
Thank
like
you,
it.
Will. Yeah, when I
like
brought
it.
this up in pre-production, I had quite a bit of there was
arguing.
a kind of brouhaha
Yes.
at that point, but I'm sticking with it. I say take the Bengals.
For my third pick, since this is a Philly-free weekend with no Dodge, no Nick, no one to pick Philly, I'm going to take Buffalo,
Yes.
giving 1.5. Buffalo's been good against the spread this year. Philly, I think, is 2-5 against the spread.
And
And
he guaranteed Philly. Coach guaranteed a win last week. Is that what happened?
yeah, but he didn't mention what team though, right?
Let me just. It's tough for me to figure out. So the Jets beat Dallas, and then Dallas killed Philly. So that
the
tells
week
you
to week in these things is crazy.
where.
stuff.
No, the
Philly.
transitive property does not apply.
right.
Oh,
not
I
at all.
like it. A little
Yeah.
math. The transitive property.
That's just for you, Richard.
Buffalo's only given 1.5, and I think they're at home and they're the better team, and they're I just think it's a
I
solid
like
team.
this play. Their defense is nasty.
Yeah.
All right, for my last pick, I'm going back to the NFC South and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Whoa.
If you look at Tampa's schedule, they've had a pretty rough go of it so far. They played the Panthers twice. They played the Saints. Played the Rams. They beat the Rams. I mean, they're 2-4, right? It's not great, but I think that they're better than their schedule's been showing. And they're playing against the Titans, and that's a team that's 3-4, but they're just all over the place. You never know what you're going to get with these guys.
They're
I know
a mess.
They beat the Chargers, but the Chargers stink.
They should have lost last week.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a triple goal line stand. It was just they definitely should have lost last week. And Tennessee is not having a good season.
Yeah, they're like you said, they're always up and down. You bet them 1 week, they win, they lose, they win, they lose.
So you're getting 2.5 with Tampa here, and I think maybe even sprinkle a little on the money line. I don't know.
I like it.
I know. And putting my money on James Winston always is a tough call for me.
He'll have a couple of big games. Maybe I think he's overdue. All right, the money line underdog parlay. Here we go. I'm gonna use two of our special guest Will Clegg's picks this week.
Dangerous.
I like having him on, so we're gonna throw his all his knowledge into this one. We're gonna take his Panthers and Buccaneers choices, and I'm gonna throw the Chargers in there, and that pays a juicy 18-1. Will cover us for the season on into the playoffs. I feel great about this one. Get involved. Hey, Will, what's up, buddy? It's so weird. I don't know how to introduce you since you've been sitting across from me this whole time. It's usually there's a big hoopla. You enter
I don't know.
the room.
Does Clegg's Corner even need an introduction? At
Clegg's
this point?
Corner is become. How close were we last week?
Oh my gosh, so close. The 94th minute.
Extra time. Unbelievable.
Yeah, added time they call it, I guess. We had the draw. It was 1-1, and Aston Villa put one away to win it right at the death there. So the two favorites came in. We would have had the parlay. Would have had all the wins.
Everything. It would have been. It was such a good, great. Clegg is on fire here with the soccer
If
stuff.
you're betting the game straight up, you still made a tiny little bit of money through the two favorites coming in. So, all right, let's go to this week. I got 3 games for you. Saturday, 3 p.m. We're going to start off in the Spanish League. We've got, and then this is fun to say, Atletico Madrid versus
Atletico Madrid.
Athletic Club de Bilbao.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's right.
What are these names?
They're a lot of fun to say and fun to watch, too. Atletico Madrid's a great team. I've bet them away from home a couple times this year. Hasn't worked out for me very well. They're going to be home this week, and they're minus 150, so I'm digging it. That's the first pick. Now we're going to go to Sunday, 10 a.m. I got another draw in the Premier League for you. This time it's Newcastle and Wolves. Now, these are teams that are both kind of inconsistent this year, and I think that they're both going to be looking for like 1 point out of this game. No one's really going to be going for the win, and that's a good setup for a draw here. It's only plus 210. A lot of the times you'll see like plus 250, plus 275, even higher. I think probably the bookmakers know that the draw is a good possibility here, and so I like it. And then finally, we've got Liverpool to beat Tottenham. That's Sunday at 12:30. Tottenham's been on a slide. They managed to get a win this week in the Champions League, but I mean, they're in big trouble right now. And Liverpool just had a disappointing draw to Man United. I think they're going to come back looking for blood and just really beat up on this Tottenham team.
I love the 12:30 Sunday start. So at the halfway point of the soccer, by 1:30, when all my 1 o'clocks are blowing up in my face, I can just click over and catch the second half of this soccer match.
Yeah, and reload if you want to on Liverpool because they're already going to be winning by that point.
And bring
free money.
Get all that money back that might be flying out of my account in the early NFL games.
I like taking the two favorites and then the draw because like what happened last week, right? If the two favorites
Right
come
in
in,
it.
you win a little money, and if the draw comes in, you win money, and if they all come in, you kill it. So I like this combination you got.
All right, so if you tie all 3 of those games together, it's decent, juicy, plus 677.
Nice, 7-1, buddy. I like it. All right, a quick recap so you can jot down this week's winners. I'm taking the Patriots minus 13, the Chargers plus 4, Notre Dame minus 1. Richard's rolling with Florida State minus 9.5, the Jets plus 5.5, and the Bengals plus 13.5. Will Clegg has Carolina plus 5.5, Minnesota minus 15.5, Tampa Bay plus 2.5, and Bill Lesko is going with Houston minus 6.5, Indy minus 6, and Buffalo minus 1.5. For the moneyline underdog parlay, we're rolling with Carolina, the Los Angeles Chargers, and Tampa Bay. That pays a nice 18-1. Clegg's Corner has Atletico Madrid, Newcastle Wolves in a draw, and Liverpool, and that pays a nice 7-1. We plugged all 12 of our picks into the DraftKings app. We like to do this. It's like lighting money on fire every week, but maybe we'll hit one, $1 in a dream. And what does that pay, Will?
This week it's 23.81 to 1.
Oh, nice. At least $1. I mean, things got to turn around, guys. This is it. This is week 8. We putzed around long enough. 7 mediocre weeks in a row. We have to have a strong finish.
I think we're going to come out with I like, and having Will in the studio, I feel like it changes the karma. I see something good happening this week.
My producer's staring right at me the whole time. It's really turns the pressure
pointing
up.
to my watch.
And he tried to hijack the show, too. Anything we want to plug?
I'm going to plug the restaurant, the Saratoga restaurant, Danny Osteria. Excellent restaurant. We were up there this weekend for Megan's birthday. We've been there before. It's very hard to get a reservation. It's one of these restaurants. It's so good you can never get in. But we were able to get a reservation. Off season.
It was so good.
Delicious.
It's so good. They
It's
said
so
if we
good.
want a reservation in August, we got to call in February. Right?
Which is why I
that's
don't
right.
understand why we're telling everybody about the place.
Yeah. I don't know if we should be plugging it.
That's right. Yeah, well, anyway, that wasn't well thought out. But Saratoga in off-season is interesting. Like, they don't have the horses, but it's like a college town up there, which I didn't, we're always up there in August, I guess when the college kids aren't around as much.
But it was also, you have leaf peeping season up there.
Yeah, we did some leaf peeping. Vermont is beautiful this time of year. If you ever get an invite to the Lesko Chateau up there, I would definitely jump on that opportunity. We had a great, if it wasn't for football, it really would have been an enjoyable, pleasant weekend.
All right, I've got a couple of storytelling shows coming up, actually. Friend of the show, Adam Wade, has a monthly show that takes place at the Magnet Theater in Manhattan. He's going to be away for November 2nd, and he foolishly has entrusted me to host the show.
Whoa.
Yeah. Wow. So that's November 2nd, 6 p.m. at the Magnet Theater. You can buy tickets for that online.
Big responsibility.
You're getting plugged in everywhere.
Yeah, that's right. And then if you're in Hoboken or nearby, there's a big show on November 8th at the Mile Square Theater featuring Adam Wade and also myself and a bunch of other great storytellers. That's going to be a fun night, so come on out.
The storytelling is. I've been to a few of these shows. I've seen Will tell a few stories. Will does a great job. Adam does a great job, and it's a big scene. I mean, we had David Martin on. I didn't know years ago about this storytelling scene, but it's great. It's great entertainment. I'd say get out there and check out one of these shows.
I guess I should also plug Van Voorst Films, the company that makes this podcast.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's right. Oh yeah, absolutely.
VanVoorstFilms.com.
I didn't want to mention the snafus this week. A quick thanks to all the guests for coming out, boarding the sinking ship. I appreciate you guys' stick-to-itiveness. My brother, Richard, the Math Whisperer, Salvatore.
Of course. Thanks for having me. Will was on board. We got the Sports Equinox. Things are going to turn around. Count on it.
Sports Equinox. Willie, Bon Vivant, Lesko.
Yeah, back again. We'll see how we do.
Thanks for the weekend in Vermont. Great time. And our producer and the champion of our accounts on DraftKings, as he's keeping us afloat with Clegg's Corner, Will Clegg.
Thanks for having me, guys. Anytime.
You're on the show and recording the show at the same time. Is that what's happening here?
Yeah, I really hope it came out okay.
This is amazing.
I have a question. If Will goes 3-0, is he back on next week? How's that going to work?
I mean, I'm here every week, so
You have to come back on.
I could just yell out the picks from where I'm recording.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, you could just give them to me.
Oh,
I
wait.
will make them
I could have been doing that all along.
That would have been helpful about 5 weeks ago.
Sorry.
If you liked what you heard, please subscribe. We're on Apple, Android, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also subscribe at our website, picksfromtheyard.com. Visit the website for all of our archived and bonus episodes and more content. For comments, criticisms, and challenges to Wayne, email us at pftypod@gmail.com, and we'll be sure to get back to you. Join the conversation on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're at PFTY Pod on social media. Remember, gambling on sports is entertainment. Please don't overdo it. If you or someone you know is in over their head, call 800-GAMBLER for help. The Picks from the Yard podcast is produced by Van Vorst Films in Hoboken, New Jersey. Our music is Anticipation by the Gefkins. Check them out on Spotify. We'll be back next week. Get involved.